Welcome to the Mediation Pack for Cisco Prime Infrastructure training presentation, for the IBM Operations Analytics Predictive Insights product. In this presentation we will discuss the following topics. Overview of the Mediation Pack. Prerequisites for the Mediation Pack. Cisco Prime Infrastructure Mediation Pack Introduction. Cisco Prime Infrastructure Mediation Pack Data and Metrics. Installing and configuring the Cisco Prime Infrastructure Mediation Pack. Deploying the data model, and data training. Support and troubleshooting. And, Operations Analytics Media Resources. The IBM Operations Analytics Predictive Insights Mediation Pack for Cisco Prime Infrastructure provides a pre-built model for data ingestion. This model is then used to forecast behavior outside of the modeled range, which generates alarms. The Cisco Prime Infrastructure Mediation Pack provides metric data in CSV format, for which the Mediation Pack will use to formulate content into predictive insights. The Cisco Prime Infrastructure provides APIs which are utilized to retrieve the metric data. A Java client is employed to call the various APIs and format the metric data into the corresponding CSV files. The diagram at the bottom of the slide shows that the Java utility retrieves Cisco Prime metrics and then formats them into CSV files, which is then ingested by the Predictive Insights product. The following is a list of prerequisites that are needed for the Cisco Prime Infrastructure Mediation Pack. Predictive Insights versions 1.3.3, 1.3.4, or 1.3.5 must be installed prior to installing the Mediation Pack. The Cisco Prime Infrastructure must be configured for historical collection on the metrics for every 5-minute intervals. The Mediation Pack supports Cisco Prime Infrastructure version 3.1 or higher. We will now discuss the Cisco Prime Infrastructure Solution Overview, which include the topics of the source of the metrics to be ingested by Predictive Insights. As mentioned before, the Cisco Prime Infrastructure provides metrics by API calls. The Mediation Pack Java client utilizes the API call to retrieve the metrics and then writes the metrics into CSV formatted files. Predictive Insights is configured to pull in the content from the CSV files. This slide shows the list of performance metrics that are retrieved by the API call to the Cisco Prime Infrastructure and formatted into CSV files. The first CSV file is metrics by site, which consists of client and device counts and alarms. The second CSV file shows alarms associated with devices. The remaining CSV files show the access point details, the controller details, and the CPU and memory utilization of the controllers. This table shows how the metric content from the CSV files are used in the Predictive Insights product. In this section we will discuss how to install and configure the Cisco Prime Infrastructure Mediation Pack. In this slide we will discuss the Mediation Pack contents. After you download the Cisco Prime Infrastructure Mediation Pack, you must uncompress the zip file, which contains the following directory structure. The config directory does not contain any files for this Mediation Pack. The docs directory will contain the user guide and the README files. The license directory contains the license files that govern the usage of the Mediation Pack. The bin directory contains the Java client utility, which is used to extract metrics from the Cisco Prime Infrastructure and format the metric into CSV files. The PA model directory contains the Mediation Pack model, which is imported into Predictive Insights using the Mediation tool. The remaining directories are not used by this Mediation Pack. The following slides describe the steps that are necessary to add the mediation pack to your Operations Analytics Predictive Insights environment. The first step is to configure the Cisco Prime Infrastructure Java utility using the Cisco Prime Infra utility.jar and cpi.sh script that is bundled in the mediation pack. The second step is to configure the data model. The last step will be to create the topic. This slide shows the steps needed to install the Cisco Prime Infrastructure Java client. Before you can use the Java utility, you must have installed the Java JRE 1.6 on your Predictive Insights server where the Java utility will be installed. The first steps to install the Java client are to download and unpack the Cisco Prime Infrastructure Mediation Pack. You must then copy the Cisco Prime Infrastructure jar file from the bin directory of the Mediation Pack to any user-defined directory on the Operations Analytics Predictive Insights system. This slide discusses the parameters and command to execute the Java client. To run the Java utility, the Java command shown on this slide must be executed to collect the metrics. A script called cpi.sh has been created for you that executes the Java command. This script is located in the bin directory of the unzipped pack contents and can be copied to any user-defined directory. You must edit the cpi.sh to set the correct command parameters. You must also make sure that the path to your Java JRE is set correctly in the script. The following are the command parameters that must be configured in order for the Java client to work. The path is the location where you copied the Cisco Prime Infra utility.jar file to. Note that for the command parameters, all parameters are preceded by AD. The host name is the IP address of the Cisco Prime Infrastructure server. Protocol can be either HTTP or HTTPS depending on if SSL is used. Path is the path that the CSV files will be written to. We will now discuss how to run the Java client. The Cisco Prime Infrastructure Java shell script needs to be executed at regular intervals to fetch data for all the required metric groups. In order to accomplish regularly scheduled execution of the Java utility, cron is used. After the shell script has been edited, you must schedule the script execution by creating a cron job. The steps to schedule the cron job are shown in this slide. Note that the red 5 indicates that the cron job will be run every 5 minutes. After the scheduled shell script has been executed, you can check if any CSV files have been created in the directory that you had specified for the Java command CSV path parameter. The next step to perform is to configure the data modeling by importing the model file into the Predictive Insights server. Copy the PA model file to the Predictive Insights server where the mediation tool is installed. Then change to the bin directory to launch the mediation tool and go to the File pull-down menu and click on the Import button as shown on the slide. Select the Predictive Insights model in the menu and click on Next. Select the Cisco Prime Infrastructure PA model file and click on OK. When prompted, click on Finish to complete the import process. We will now discuss how to configure the data source. You configure the data source by entering the data source name and the file path of the CSV files. Make sure the time zone is set to UTC. To verify that the data is appearing, select any metric group and click on the red circled icon shown in the slide. The last step in configuring the data model is to create the topic. To create the topic, log into the Predictive Insights server, change to the bin directory of Predictive Insights and then run the command that is shown on steps 3 and 4 in the slide. In this section we will discuss how to deploy the data model and start the data training process. To deploy the Mediation pack, first right-click on the model file and select the Deploy Model option as shown on the slide. For the next step, enter the host name, database, port number, and user and password of the Predictive Insights database. After you enter the user and password, click Yes to deploy the model. You will now start the data training process by logging into the Predictive Insights server, and change to the bin directory. After you have changed to the directory, run the command shown in step 3 in the slide. After the data training process has started, you can check on the process by looking at the active event list as shown in the slide. Typically, the training process can take up to 2 weeks before the anomalies are accurately predicted. When the training process is complete, you can review any detected anomalies by logging into the console and navigating to the Detected Anomalies page as shown on the slide. To view an anomaly, right-click on the anomaly in the active event list and launch the Service Diagnosis tool, as shown in the slide. You can now review the metric behavior for the time period as shown on the slide. If you experience any problems, you can open a problem management record with IBM support. When you open the problem ticket, you must provide the product name and version of the Predictive Insight software that you are using. You must also provide the Mediation pack name and version that you have installed. When opening the problem management ticket, you must provide screenshots and extracted files by running the command shown in the slide. Also, you should provide a use case description when the problem occurred. For information on IBM Operations Analytics, refer to the URLs that are shown on the slide. The following slides contain notice and disclaimer information. Thank you for viewing this presentation of the Mediation pack for Cisco Prime Infrastructure for the IBM Operations Analytics Predictive Insights product.